Don't look now. There's a ghost outside your window, and that ghost is Haunted Indiana, Ghosts and Strange Phenomena of the Hoosier State, written by James A. Willis. Yes, how are we doing today? October is such a beautiful time of the year. It's something to treasure. You know, as we get older, we try to keep count of the things that we have in life. The things we have in life, and one of these things is to the grave. Counting the cemetery steps. It's officially known as Carpenter's Cemetery, but locals all know it as the 100 Steps Cemetery. It is said to be the place to go if you have a morbid curiosity regarding how you will die. But a word of caution before you go. Make sure you bone up on your counting skills, otherwise your demise might come a lot sooner than you think. As you wind your way along County Road 675 West, outside of Brazil, you'd be forgiven if you didn't let out a tiny gasp when you come around a particularly sharp bend in the road. That's because sitting alongside the road and literally constructed up the side of a hill is what is known as 100 Steps Cemetery. The name comes from the stone steps that go from the road up the hill to the top of the cemetery. Along the way, there are tombstones, some of which are leaning or have already toppled to the ground, dotting the hill on either side of the steps. Upon reaching the top of the hill, there are several tombstones, all of which overlook a field. This point is referred to as the center of the cemetery. The legend surrounding this cemetery is one that should be approached with caution. It is said that you must go out to the cemetery at night. In some cases, it must be at midnight. When you arrive at the cemetery, you must stand at the bottom of the steps and then slowly ascend them one at a time, counting them as you go. Once you have reached the top, make sure to face the open field and wait. Eventually, the ghost of the first caretaker of the cemetery will appear and come towards you. When he reaches you, if you haven't already bolted, he will show you a vision that will reveal how you will die. Then, his task being complete, the ghostly caretaker will vanish before your eyes. Then comes the tricky part. Once you've recovered from seeing the vision of your death, you must turn and walk back down the steps, once again counting as you go. When you hit the bottom, if you end up with the same number of steps that you counted on the way up, you're home free. But if you unfortunately end up with a different number, you might want to make a couple of phone calls. That's because you're going to die the way the caretaker foretold that very night. Oh, and just in case after seeing the caretaker's vision, you get the bright idea of trying to forego the step counting by climbing down the hillside itself, think again. Those who've tried report being shoved to the ground by unseen hands, so hard that it left red marks on their backs that did not fade away for several weeks. If you're still thinking you are up for the challenge, here's one final word of caution. It is said that the caretaker or some other playful ghost likes to make some of the steps magically vanish, making it quite hard to determine just how many steps there are. Case in point, while it is known as the 100 Steps Cemetery, very few people have ever been able to count more than 65 steps. You know, I like to do a little paranormal here and there. I have a strong interest in it, but something like this, nah. But I'd like to recommend this to a few people. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. If you want to come find me, my links are in the description. Boils and ghouls, I will see you next time. Love ya.